All right, welcome to week 16 of the Ayurvedic habit building program. Today, our topic is oral hygiene, and this is the implementation week. Last week, we looked at oral hygiene awareness. Today, we'll talk about some practices and how to implement them in your morning routine. Let's begin, as always, with presence, pause, and breath regulation that I'm going to guide you through. So, please be seated in a comfortable position. And I request you to close your eyes if possible. Start by bringing your awareness to the breath. Observe your breath. The rhythm of it. And shift your attention to your stomach. Notice any sensations in your stomach without judging them or labeling them. Just raw awareness. Now shift your attention to your feet. Stay with any sensations on your feet. Now move your attention to your posture. Observe your posture without correcting it. Now notice what's running on your mind. Just watch your thoughts. Do not engage with them. Simply watch your thoughts. How alert or tired do you feel in your body? How alert or tired do you feel in your body? And where do you feel it in your body? Where do you feel it in your body? Now let's take 3 deep breaths. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Be present with your feeling. Gently open your eyes. Quick habit check-in. We are on habit number 7 now. So far we've covered various habits in the first half of the program, and in the second half, our previous habit was sunlight exposure. I hope you all are making progress on these habits. If anyone is willing to share about their experiences on these habits, please raise your hand. You're welcome to do so. It would also encourage the other participants to make more progress on all of these habits. But I request you all to check in with yourself, even if you're not sharing, as to how you're progressing with all of these habits. Just take a moment, even after the session, to just check in how your progress is. And if you're doing all of these habits, if you're incorporating these new principles and habits with awareness, because that's the most important thing. To do all of this with awareness as to how it's impacting your system and how it's bringing about shifts in your daily routine as well as your overall health. So, today we're going to talk about oral hygiene. Let's do a quick recap of what we discussed last week. To truly understand why we emphasize these oral hygiene rituals, we have to shift our perspective on what the mouth actually is. In Ayurveda, the mouth is not an isolated compartment, it's the entry point to your entire digestive system. And it's a primary gateway for your immune health, even. It is a reflection of your internal health because your oral health is like a report card of your internal health. The bacterial balance in your mouth, it doesn't just stay in your mouth, it travels into your gut. So if your oral microbiome is disrupted, it creates a ripple effect. It impacts your gut health, your immune response, and overall internal balance. So you cannot have a healthy gut if you have a toxic mouth. So your oral hygiene is the first step of having a healthy gut health. So, in order to improve your gut health, you need to think about your oral health as well. So, it's not about just clean teeth or fresh breath, it's your overall internal balance. And why is it an important part of your morning routine? It's because the state of your mouth when you wake up is one of the most honest signals your body gives you. The white coating on your tongue, or the quality of your breath, or the stickiness in your mouth, these are all indicators of the digestion on your previous day, the overall digestive health in general, how your body processes your last few meals. And it's an indication of toxin accumulation, what we call in Ayurveda ama. It shows the level of metabolic waste that your body tried to clear while you slept. So when we scrape our tongues and when we pull oil, these aren't just cleaning your mouth. We are clearing the path for our digestion, for our Agni to work well. So the first thing we swallow in the morning is shouldn't be your previous day's toxins. So we need to clear that gunk out, and that's why these oral care practices are important. Okay, so let's start by talking about our first practice, which is brushing your teeth with an herbal Ayurvedic toothpaste. As I mentioned in the last session, most modern day toothpaste that you find over the counter, they're all very harsh on your tongue. And this is important because your tongue sensitivity is damaged by these harsh ingredients that regular toothpaste have. So we have to address certain ingredients that you need to keep in mind to avoid as things like SLS, which is sodium lauryl sulfate, which is a harsh detergent, or synthetic whiteners that you find in many toothpaste like peroxides, and various other um, ingredients like propylene glycol. So I just mentioned three common ingredients you find in regular toothpaste that you should avoid. And then you have Ayurvedic toothpaste that have ingredients like neem or clove oil or triphala, yashti madhu. These are all ingredients that support your oral health. Neem, for example, is great disruptor of plaque in your tongue and mouth. And clove oil is used for its natural analgesic properties, and triphala helps strengthen the gums. So all of these herbs, they have different actions in your mouth, and most Ayurvedic toothpaste have a mixture of these herbs. They don't just like wipe out the bacteria, they balance the oral microbiome very safely and very sustainably. So, I highly recommend switching to an Ayurvedic toothpaste. And I cannot recommend you the exact brands. Various brands have different formulas. I'd suggest that you check the ingredients and avoid the a common red flag ingredients I mentioned here. Excuse me. Avoid the common red flag ingredients and ensure that the when you use the toothpaste, it's not really giving you that dryness or irritation that you feel in your mouth. Hopefully, last week you were able to notice how your current toothpaste is making you feel in your mouth and how it impacts your taste perception. So focus on that and based on that, decide a toothpaste that works out for you. Any questions on this? So another thing I would like to mention is Ayurvedic classic texts mention that toothpaste should have the taste pungent and bitter and maybe a little bit of astringent, but they should never be salty because salt can soften the tissues and cause water retention in the gums. So, many modern toothpaste advertise salt in their toothpaste so as to clean better, but that is contraindicated according to Ayurveda. So, that's something to keep in mind as well. No salt in your toothpaste. Okay. And any questions on toothpaste, you can ping me offline about it. Next up is tongue scraping. Tongue scraping is a simple 15-second practice. It's very effective, but it's undervalued part of our oral hygiene, especially outside of India. Most Indians have this as a regular practice in their morning routine. Tongue scraping is highly recommended as per Ayurveda. It's called Jihva Nirlekshana. If you've noticed white coating on your tongue, usually when you wake up, this is because during the night hours, the pitta hours of your night, if you remember from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., especially, your liver is very active and it actively detoxifies. And at the end of this cycle, it produces metabolic waste and it pushes it out through various channels. And that's why you wake up with the urge to defecate or pee. So you're pushing out this metabolic waste. And just like that, you also have this coating on your tongue that's formed as your body removes this metabolic waste. And this coating should not be reabsorbed by your body. So it's important that you scrape this gunk out. And how you do it is using a metal scraper. Ayurveda recommends some metals like copper, silver, and if you're very rich, gold, for scraping your tongue. Copper is highly preferable if you can maintain a copper tongue scraper because it's a little bit more difficult to maintain than other tongue scrapers. You have to clean it out regularly. But copper is best because of its inherent antimicrobial properties. And the benefits of tongue scraping, as I mentioned, it's firstly, it freshens your breath. It removes the source of odors. And then it lowers the infection risk. It clears that buildup that can lead to infections like gingivitis or oral thrush and all these things. And it enhances taste. It clears that biofilm of your tongue so you can actually taste your food better. And as I said, this enhances your overall digestion because taste is essentially the first step of digestion where your saliva is produced appropriately. And then it balances the microbiome. It supports a healthy ecological balance in your mouth. Any questions on tongue scraping? Mm, mm. All right. And the third practice, we can move on to our third practice if you don't have any questions, is oil pulling. It's called Gandusha in Ayurveda. So, this is another practice that I highly recommend. As I introduced this to you in our last session, it's like a very healthy alternative to mouthwashes, oral mouthwashes, right? And it's a very old technique, yes, yet it's relevant in today's day and age. And I would suggest if you're using a mouthwash to not do it because it clears out all the good as well as bad as well as good bacteria in your mouth. So it's important for it's important for you to not um, use chemical based mouthwashes and instead replace it with oil pulling. Oil pulling is essentially swishing oil in your mouth, right? And why oil? Because in Ayurveda, we recognize that many toxins or ama, they're fat soluble, meaning water alone cannot move them. So all the toxins in your mouth get cleared by oil, by swishing with high quality cold pressed oil. You essentially get all these fat soluble toxins out. So it offers deep detoxification. It clears the bacteria from the oral mucosa before they can re enter your digestive system. And then it fortifies the gums and teeth, which significantly reduces the sensitivity and promotes long term integrity. So it strengthens your oral tissues. And it also offers systemic digestive support. It cleans the gateway of the mouth. So it indirectly stimulates your Agni or digestive fire and it primes your body for the appropriate enzymes and saliva production. And then you have this natural breath freshening that happens because it neutralizes these odor causing microbes in the body. It balances the oral microbiome without that chemical kill of, alcohol based mouthwashes. So this is again like an easy technique to do. It can be done anywhere between say 5 to 20 minutes. Start with 5 minutes and then you can go up to 20 minutes as you get more used to it. You can use sesame oil for its warming and penetrative qualities. Sesame oil is more penetrating. So it's ideally the best oil to use for oil pulling. Cold pressed sesame oil. And you can also use coconut oil if you struggle with acidity or heat related issues. So you take about 1 tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of an oil on empty stomach, preferably. You can do it before brushing your teeth, but for most people, I'd recommend after brushing your teeth. You can take this oil in your mouth. You don't have to swish it aggressively, just keep it in your mouth for about 5 to 20 minutes. So no need of aggressive gargling, but make it more relaxed. And you know when the oil should be spit out based on when the oil loses its viscosity. So after some time, you'll see that the oil turns like milky white. And this is a sign that the oil has successfully bound with the toxins and it's clearing them out. So that's when you can spit it out. And always spit it in a trash bin and not into the sink because it can clog the sink and drain. So spit it in a trash can and that's it. That's a simple practice. As I said, like you do not have to gargle aggressively, keep it relaxed and start small, and you can increase the time depending on how you're feeling. And you can rinse your mouth with water after you spit the oil out to feel fresh again. So that's oil pulling. Any questions on this? All right, so these are the three Oral care practices, Ayurvedic oral care practices. Many of you may already be, doing one or two or all the three of these. I'd say start with a small change from your existing current practices and see how it's working out. You can incorporate oil pulling for 5 minutes, for example, every morning, and based on how you're feeling, you can determine how you can progress on it. And one important note about oil pulling: if you are experiencing any kind of heaviness in the body, or any kind of throat infections, or any oral related infections, it's better to avoid oil while the infections are active, or even colds and coughs. So stay away from oil pulling when you're sick, but essentially when you're healthier, you can always do oil pulling as a regular everyday practice. Wait a minute for any questions, otherwise I'll let you go.
So for oil pulling, I have a sesame oil which I use for Abhyanga. Can I
Yeah,
use, I don't know if it's edible or not, so we need like an edible oil to do oil
every
pulling,
oil
or
is
is it the same thing? I don't know.
yeah, it's the same thing.
Okay, okay.
Typically, oils are edible.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, you can use
Okay,
that.
okay.
Prefer black sesame oil
Mm-hmm.
over processed or white sesame oil. But even if black sesame oil has a very strong odor, so if you can't take that, using white sesame oil is also okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Right. Thank you all for joining. Good luck with this and see you all next week.